And here we are, the season finale for Season 7 of Game of Thrones. I feel like it just started. And now we must say goodbye. For 2 years, maybe.
I hope not. I mean, waiting the extra few months for this season was brutal, and it's already, just like that, it's gone.
Can we talk about something before we preview this?
Of course.
It should have been a 10-episode season.
Yeah.
Not necessary to cut it down to 7 episodes.
No, and I think that's what a lot of people are saying, that the season feels rushed.
Yes.
So I guess that aligns with that.
Well, I know most people loved the last episode. It wasn't polarizing at all. But it felt like that episode should have been maybe 2 to 3 episodes. That they could have done a grand finale where episode 7, 8, 9, and then 10 is that bridge to season 8.
Yeah, it was very split. I mean, after we finished recording it and watching it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get eviscerated. People are going to say that I went too hard on it. And apparently we didn't go too hard enough, so...
Right. I mean, the world it's a binary world. You either love the episode or you hated it. There's no room for in between.
But I think the best part is, even though I did have some things I didn't like about it, I am fully on board for the finale. I cannot wait. Because you definitely know, even though we didn't get much from the preview, you definitely know that something is going to happen in this hour and 20 minutes.
Well, everybody was wondering what happened to Grey Worm, and it looks like he's okay. That's another thing why this season has felt rushed. They had this storyline where the Unsullied go to take Castle Rock, and then they just never addressed it again after it happened, after episode 3.
Well, they had to make their long trek across Westeros, because they were kind of cornered in by the Greyjoy army. So now it looks like they arrived outside the gates of King's Landing.
Yeah, so they abandoned Castle Rock.
They're just walking, and you just have the Greyjoy fleet lurking behind them, just keeping a close eye on them.
Spying on them. Keep it moving, fellas. And the Iron Fleet is now defending King's Landing. Tyrion, Varys, and Theon, it looks like they're on a Targaryen vessel, and they're approaching King's Landing. This is for the meetup that is going to go down, probably towards the middle, maybe in the beginning of the episode too. Maybe this is where the episode starts. It kind of feels like The Godfather when Vito Corleone calls in all the heads of the family. I'm waiting for the Night King to walk up at the end. Like, hey, all
Looks
the heads
like a party. Why wasn't I invited? Yeah, I think they might start at Dragonstone, but I kind of feel like they should just kind of move it along, get to this meetup, and, we have all the big characters in one area now. It's Winterfell and King's Landing, so it's going to be heavily focused on these two areas. We have Tyrion, Varys, Theon, Jorah, Jon, and I think Daenerys will make an appearance. She's not in any of the preview.
Yeah, but those shots for the meetup, that one shot where it's Jon, Podrick, Missandei,
Brienne.
Davos, Brienne, Jorah, Tyrion. What? It's crazy. It's awesome to see all these characters together. The other side, you have Cersei, who looks like she's killing that outfit.
She's fucking amazing.
I love her, yeah.
Don't start.
Dude, my favorite character.
Oh my God. You have absolutely...
And Sansa...
You shamed me for liking Cersei. Now you're not allowed to jump on the bandwagon.
Hey,
Stay
man,
off.
I agreed to putting her number 2 in our top 10.
Yeah, it should have been number 1.
And these are my favorite type of scenes in cinema and television, when you have adversaries who sit down at the table, have a peaceful discussion, but you know it's going to pop off. You know that this scene is going to get chaotic.
Oh my God, it has to. If Daenerys shows up, we'll put the betting line at -400. Cersei makes a reference like, oh, I thought you only had 3 dragons. Why do you only have 2?
Yeah.
Something very snarky like that.
And then Daenerys can be like, oh, I thought you had 3 kids. What happened to them?
Tensions have to go off. I mean, if you're Cersei, you really have them where you want. Their army on the outside and all of them on the inside. You got to imagine that Daenerys is going to have her dragons ready to go at any moment.
Yeah, people always point to that Bran vision where he sees one of the dragons flying over King's Landing. It looks like that can be Daenerys' grand entrance. We talk about them showing their strength, the Unsullied being backed up by the Dothraki, Jaime and Bronn overlooking them on the walls of King's Landing. That's a very forceful show of strength if Daenerys came to this meeting last, fashionably late, on the back of a dragon.
Do you think the White is going to have any sway on what Cersei or Jaime think? I mean, you don't see the Hound in this, too. I'm pretty sure he's the one that was supposed to bring the White.
Yeah, I think he's going to be there because there's a couple of shots in the trailer that we haven't seen yet this season, so obviously they're going to be in the finale. The shot of Theon that we actually do see in this trailer where he steps off the boat and he falls on the sand. And there's a shot of the Hound, and it looks like he almost he leaped out of a box, like they were hiding him, and he whips out a sword. Clegane?
I honestly hasn't crossed my mind until you just mentioned it, because I'm so focused on Cersei, Daenerys, Jon, and all them meeting up that you forget about, well, yeah, we had the Mountain and the Hound possibly reuniting, because you definitely know the Mountain is going to be Cersei's muscle right behind her. So that's very interesting. I think so. If shit goes down, I think that's the first person the Hound goes after. We might not get the Clegane Bowl where it's just the Hound versus the Mountain in some, I guess, trial by combat or head-to-head, but maybe in just a broader sense where it's just chaos going around and they just find each other and go off.
Well, you look at their plan to introduce Cersei to an undead man, and then she turns to the Mountain and says, wow, look at that. Not really swaying me here, guys. I'm pretty familiar with people who have come back to life.
That's fantastic. I didn't think of that either.
The difference is that there's an entire army. There's hundreds of thousands of them up north.
Qyburn's going to be like, oh my God, let me see that guy.
I think most fans never, most fans never expected everybody to team up, and the Starks and the Lannisters to go fight north. And it's not only that, I don't think most fans want to see that happen.
It's just an odd optic to have them all just throw away their personal motivations out of nowhere to team up to fight a greater evil. Even though it's a logical thing to do, that's not always what we've seen these characters do in the past.
People talk about how this series kind of feels like Lord of the Rings, and they say that like it's a bad thing, but the thing is that this show very much was a political drama for the first 4 seasons, and now it's becoming, I say it all the time, it's becoming the epic. It's becoming the good versus evil, the big battles, all the magic is coming to the forefront.
Well, you had in season 2 basically pretty much all dialogue-driven political games with Tyrion and King's Landing were some of the best scenes in the whole series. And I feel like when they have those moments in this season, it's really not that well thought out or as clever or as crucial to the story, where they're kind of just trying to get to the next big battle or epic moment, where they don't have these epic moments within dialogue-driven scenes. It has to be some sort of big event. As far as this episode is concerned, the finale, I am very excited. I just can't wait to see what they do. Last year's finale is probably my favorite episode of the whole series. But we got so much in that episode that was fantastic, from the Sept blowing up, confirming R+L=J, the king in the north, and finally ending it on Daenerys coming home.
Now, I have an idea about Sansa and Arya. We were I wouldn't say critical, but we were kind of mad at Arya that she didn't understand what Sansa had to do, that she was forced to write this letter. I think Littlefinger, there's a possibility that he's dead, that Arya killed him off screen, and she's been using his face in those moments with Sansa, that she's almost testing Sansa, kind of baiting her into the whole idea of Lady Brienne is here. She was sworn to protect both Stark girls. Maybe we sick Brienne on Arya. This is a way to gauge what Sansa wants. Does she actually want to usurp Jon's throne? This was Arya's test.
I don't believe that. I don't think Littlefinger, even though he's not the biggest character, I think he doesn't deserve an off-screen death.
But do you think Arya is maybe working? This is just, she's not really mad at Sansa. This is something bigger to get at Littlefinger.
I think she might have had, I guess along with your theory, I would say, it would be that she has some of the faces of people Littlefinger has been dealing with. Her generic bag of faces, she put on a generic face, put on a Stark uniform, and started working as a Stark man in disguise and just trying to help Littlefinger out, taking his messages, pretty much following what he wants to say, and in the same way getting information. I would hope so, because if it really is going down that line, you would think that might be reasonable, because Arya has to be smarter than that, where it's something where at first it might seem one way, but then when we find out that Arya might have been playing her own manipulation games in order to get what she wanted out of...
So Jon and Arya not going to reunite this season.
Yeah, sad.
Doesn't really look like
Wants
it.
to make a quick pit stop in Winterfell.
Yeah.
Just to check in.
Well, this season they'll just take a jet. The intercontinental train. Do you think Jon, a character that references Rhaegar in this episode, that actually definitively states Rhaegar is Jon's father, Jon is a Targaryen?
I feel like we'll get something out of Bran this season, because they've hinted a lot at Jon's parentage and I guess his little interactions with the dragons. Beric last episode saying, "You must look like your mother." We basically got this big insight to Jon's past last season with Bran, and we basically got nothing else after that.
Yeah.
So I don't think we could put it off till next season when there's only 6 episodes left, and come on, we need to get things going at that point, especially if it's going to be like this season where everything's happening so rapidly.
It would be cool to see the wedding. We see the actor who played Lyanna Stark in season 6, and we see a new actor play Rhaegar, and we just get a 10-second where Bran is warging and he witnesses the wedding. And then obviously Sam stole those books from the Citadel. Who knows what else is in that book that Gilly was reading about the nullification of Rhaegar's wedding, of Rhaegar's marriage. Do you think we see a battle for King's Landing? That's what it looks like they're kind of hinting at, that they have one last big battle for this season.
I can see something like a scuffle starting in the confines of the Dragon Pit. That's where they're meeting, right?
Yes.
And then branching off into, I guess, Grey Worm and the Dothraki trying to siege King's Landing after shit starts to go down. And along with battles comes death.
I think some major characters will die in this episode. I thought like 5 major characters were dying last episode. I was wrong about that. I think there could be something with Cersei and Jaime still. Maybe Cersei is setting a trap for Daenerys and she doesn't really let Jaime in on the loop, and Cersei does something so crazy where she destroys the Red Keep, or once again she sacrifices innocent lives to make a play against her enemies, and Jaime, this would just be the last straw for him and he stabs her, kills her. And I also think Littlefinger, this could be the episode where Littlefinger finally dies. The earlier seasons, Littlefinger was a prominent player in the game. Everybody always credits him with starting the War of the Five Kings. And at one point I did consider him a legit contender for the Iron Throne, but I don't anymore. And his personal manipulations and games really no longer have any effect on the grand scheme of things. So hopefully the Stark girls, they're planning something behind our backs, behind his back, and this is where the character meets his end. I think we could see the death of characters like Davos, maybe some...
No.
You never know, man.
No.
That's what this show used to be.
No, don't put that on me.
Well, last 2 seasons, no, you won't see anybody major die because...
Not Davos, though. He's good.
Yeah.
We don't deserve Davos.
When was the last time a good character died in Game of Thrones? A major good guy.
Rob.
Ooh, Jon. Really, it's season 5.
We knew he was coming back.
Right. I don't want to see them die, obviously, but that's what makes it so good, is that anybody can die at any moment. That's what it used to be. I'm hoping they get back to that in the finale.
I think I'm going to go Jaime, Bronn, Podrick, and Dothraki number 3.